Your hometown station, WEBO, 16 minutes after 8 o'clock with Dave and Lou. Let's take a look at your AccuWeather forecast.
Well, we're looking at a cloudy day with some showers possible, high of 51 degrees. Tonight, cloud continue with a passing shower, low of 38. And then tomorrow, Tuesday, cloudy with showers and a high of 48. Currently at 8:15, we're looking at 43 degrees here in downtown Owego. Check back throughout the day for weather updates and breaking news. I'm Lou, that's Dave, and this is the Morning Show.
It is the WEBO Morning Show, 8:17, I'll call it. It's almost there, 17 minutes after 8 o'clock. And Lou, we have got a very special guest this morning, live and direct via our new special high-tech Social Distancing Uplink. Good morning this morning to New York State Senator Fred Akshar. Good morning, Senator.
David Lou, always be with you.
Great to have you here. Thank you so much for taking the time to connect in here with us this morning. From where? The home office today?
Yeah, I'm home here in Minwell, and just good to be with you and all your listeners.
Absolutely. Great to have you here. So, interesting times. It's been a while since we chatted with you, and I don't think things could be more different than probably whenever the last time was that we spoke.
Yeah, we are for sure in uncharted waters. I'll tell you what, the New York area is alive and well, and it's just good to see so many people from the community coming together, and once again trying to get the right together.
Yeah. Very, very strange times here and beyond. I think a lot of people are doing a good job, and they're taking the advice. And I think especially just over this last weekend, people might be starting to take it even more seriously if they weren't taking it seriously enough.
Yeah, I'm not sure everybody really understands the complexity of the issue and how serious it is. This morning we are calling on collectively the governor to really double down on his position for people not to be traveling when it's not essential. I joined Chairwoman Sauerbrey, County Executive James Garner, Mayor Rich David, and County Legislative Chair Reynolds here in Brooklyn County, and penned a letter to the governor saying, listen, don't walk back on your position that people should be staying home to stop the spread. You heard the president talk about the possibility of quarantining the tri-state area. Walk back from that. The put some advisories in effect. We really want the governor to stop non-essential travel. People who are trying to run away from the pandemic in New York City and come upstate, we don't want them to do that. We want them to stay home and do their part to stop the spread.
Our best bet to save ourselves is to stay right where we at, right where we are. You've already got the germs that you have around you, right? You don't want to introduce new ones. So, you could be in a perfectly safe environment, say downstate in New York City, and you could come up here to escape it and get it at the grocery store.
Yeah, you can or pick up the virus, the disease, but most importantly, you can spread that, right? So we're really trying to double down on our people should in fact be staying home, wherever that is. Rockland County, Brooklyn, if it's Long Island, you should be staying there. We have some really powerful folks in the healthcare system that are doing their very best to treat people locally, and we certainly want our healthcare system to be overrun by folks who come outside the area.
Absolutely. People are doing some interesting things to pass the time as well. It's an opportunity to spend some family time. It's an opportunity to work from home. It's an opportunity to work on some things around the house. Lou, tell the senator about the event we had over the weekend here in Owego.
Oh, we're decorating our houses. We're just bringing joy and happiness to every neighborhood by decorating our houses with whatever the theme is. I guess it's called Though We're Apart, We're Together or something like that. but nonetheless, we're trying to get people involved and making happy faces and happy noises and just doing some front porch conversations, things like that. But this house decorating thing is starting to take hold here in the community. Of course, Dave hasn't taken his Christmas decorations down yet, so he's in great shape.
It was easy for me. I just had to plug them right back in, and we were all decorated.
I think that's one thing across the board. Whether it's here up in the north, New York, that New York is real. And once again, resolve it. There's no doubt through this issue together. It's time. I said this when I began. My sense is that we will continue to work together, and we'll get through this.
Absolutely. How are things going for you in your homestead? Are you guys social distancing? Have you had to make trips up to Albany?
Yeah, so I've made some trips to Albany, but last night we relaxed the Senate rules, which allows us to vote remotely. And I am in a unique position, as many of your listeners know, and certainly the two of you know. My wife is pregnant, and we're expecting a child in August. And so I'm doing everything I can possibly do to keep myself healthy, as to not, contract the virus and then, God forbid, spread it to my wife, my pregnant wife, and my stepdaughter. So I will this week be voting remotely. We have 5 colleagues in both the Assembly and the Senate that have contracted the virus. Some are incredibly sick. Brian Miller, Assemblyman from the Utica area, last I heard yesterday was on a ventilator. So, we obviously have constitutional obligations and responsibilities. April 1st is coming among us very, very fast. And, what we thought was going to be a difficult budget with a $6 billion deficit has turned into something incredibly significant. The governor and the budget director are projecting the deficit to be somewhere around the $15 billion mark. So the next couple of days are going to be incredibly busy.
I know the governor has been very big throughout his terms of having an on-time budget. Do we think that's going to happen this time? Because I'm not sure too many people would blame him if we didn't have an on-time budget.
Yeah, I think we're going to have an on-time budget, but I think what you're going to see this time around is the governor having a great deal of flexibility for mid-year adjustments, which quite honestly, while I haven't seen any of the budget bills, I haven't seen any of the language. I think the governor probably needs that to make appropriate decisions as we move forward throughout the course of the year. Obviously, you try to project what the revenues look like. And in doing so for this next fiscal year, we knew that we had around a $6 billion hole that we had to fill. Now with the coronavirus happening and revenues and people's employment being affected the way it is, obviously he's going to have to make changes during the course of the year. And I think it creates a lot of consternation amongst school districts and local governments. But again, the federal government is being hit very hard by this. State government is being hit very hard by this. And everyday New Yorkers are being hit very hard. So we have to find some, I think, innovative solutions moving forward through the next fiscal year.
It is going to be our second crisis. Is how do we all cover the tab when this is done?
Yeah, look, I think we have to rely on, I've often said this, that we certainly don't have a revenue problem in the state. We have a spending problem. And I think what we need to do moving forward, quite frankly, is to really look at where we're spending money. A 10 or a $15 billion hole is incredibly significant. So, we're just going to really have to tighten our belt, and we're going to have to ask ourselves, is this a want or is this a need? And of course, the priority always has to be the needs of New Yorkers. So I would suggest that the governor suspend some of his economic development programs where he spends $8 or $9 billion a year and put some of that money towards the hole that we're facing.
Do you think that this whole COVID-19 situation and this sort of revenue problem that we have, or this not revenue problem, the spending problem, will be partially resolved by this in future budgets, because we've learned, we will learn what it's like to have tightened our belts and say, hey, you know?
You certainly hope so. I mean, just the normal course of business has not, business as usual, if you will, has certainly not allowed us to tighten up our belt and become a little bit more fiscally conservative, at least in my short tenure in the state Senate. Again, I go back to my earlier point about us not having a revenue problem. We simply have a spending problem. And I've said this to both of you many times before. It seems to me that we are, taking care of the issues, funding the wants of a few, and not addressing the needs of many. So clearly, this virus or this issue that we find ourselves in has really put people in a box, if you will. And many people are finding themselves unemployed. They don't have a check. So to me, it's very, very simple, right? We have to take care of New Yorkers. We have to take care of the people who live here, and many of whom have fallen on very, very hard times. So that has to be the priority moving forward.
Absolutely. It's great to see your face. I don't know if we've just been cooped up in the house that long, Lou, that I'm that excited to see you, Senator. But it's always nice to have you on the morning show.
I apologize. I haven't been in to see you guys, and it's been a busy time. And before this hit, we were doing a lot of traveling in the district, and I of course have some new responsibilities in the state Senate, chairing the campaign committee. So that requires some of my time, and trying to get like-minded, fiscally conservative, and good Republicans elected back to the state Senate, so we can try to take this thing back.
Well, certainly no worries here. We see you're doing your job. We're proud of you. We're happy to have you represent us. And I don't know how you do it all in any given day. I mean, we follow you, of course, online to just sort of keep tabs and see what you're up to. And I don't know how you get from A to Z and everywhere in between, and still manage to make it home every night and make the coffee in the morning for Jessica.
I feel really blessed. The people of this district, have afforded me an opportunity to represent them, and hope and pray that we're doing the best we possibly can and taking care of people's issues. Listen, much of my staff is working remotely, and I just want your listeners to know that we're here to help however we can. So if people are having issues, any government-related issue, or it could be non-government related issue, I want people to know that they can count on us. And if there is something that they think that we can help them with, I want them to either call the office, 607-773-8771, or of course email us, akshar@nysenate.gov. I say often that it's relatively easy to be me because I have a great staff. I have a dedicated staff. I have people who believe in everything that we're doing and simply want to help. So if people are having issues, I want them to take advantage of reaching out. And look, if we can help you, we're going to do that. If we can't, we're going to be honest about that and try to point you in the right direction.
You've always had a wonderful staff. I spoke with Emmanuel from your staff on Friday, spoke with him again yesterday. So, I mean, they are there, they're available, they're answering phone calls, messages, emails, and handling constituent concerns as best they can. And they always do a wonderful job. So absolutely, if you have something that the senator's office might be able to help with, reach out. That's what they're there for. Anything you'd like to add before we go?
No, just, today, of course, the priority is hope. We're all hoping Chairwoman Sauerbrey, the county executive, Mayor Rich David, and the chairman of the legislature, Dan Reynolds, that the governor will heed our call. Much of his tone around this quarantine issue or this stopping, interstate travel has been, he said very specifically that he didn't like the idea socially, didn't like it culturally. That to me sounds like a very emotional response to a pretty significant issue. And he has been saying all along that we need to base our decisions in science and in data. And the science and the data is very, very clear. People need to stay home.
They need to do their part to stop the spread of the virus. And it is our position, our collective position, that we should be doing everything we possibly can to have people stay where they are. If that's in Brooklyn, you should stay in Brooklyn. If that is in Long Island, you should stay in Long Island. And I think it's important to note two things. I was raised that you give credit where credit's due. And I think the governor, in terms of this crisis, is doing a very good job. I think there is an immense amount of pressure on he and his administration to make all of the right decisions. And look, we're in contact with the governor's staff on a daily basis. And I think he's doing a very good job. I just think that we need to make, leadership requires us to make incredibly difficult decisions and sometimes unpopular decisions. And I just think that now is the time to double down on our effort to making sure people stay where they are and they're not traveling to try to escape this virus. So that is our position. And, it's not about stopping New Yorkers from getting the help that they need. It's simply making New Yorkers realize that, yes, we are in very, very difficult times. Yes, this is very unconventional for us to find ourselves in a position like this, but we really need to do our part and try to ride this thing out for as long as it takes to stop the spread of this thing.
Never before have so many people been asked to do so little and have it yet be still so important, right?
For sure.
Hug that couch real tight. Well, yeah, Senator Akshar, thank you so much for coming on. Come on anytime. It's interesting times. Always love to hear from you. Know you've been busy. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing an awesome job for us. And give your wife a hug for us and watch after your stepdaughter there, Scarlett. Tell her we said hello and best wishes for the baby to be. When are you due?
August the 27th is the due date, so we are eagerly awaiting his arrival. We're having a son, so we're very, very happy about that.
Congratulations!
Yeah, thank you. Again, I just feel blessed in my personal life. I feel blessed in my personal life, and Jessica and I wish you both and your families, much safety and much health. So.
Thank you, and
thank you, Senator.
Same to you and your staff, and to all of our fellow New Yorkers and neighbors.
Thanks. God bless you guys.
Same to you. New York State Senator Fred Akshar from the 52nd District joining us on your hometown station, WEBO, The Morning Show. It is 8:34. It is time for local news with Michael Baldwin next here on your hometown station, WEBO.